All right, so Hare Krishna again. Welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam session today. So we begin by dedicating this presentation to the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So join me with the Sri Guru Pranam and the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Jayatam Sharato Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Vatsarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohana Divyadvrindaranyo Kalpadrumadaha Srimat Ratnagado Simhasanausto Sriman Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtali Bihi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivatastatastitaha Karshan Venur Swanar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे निगम कल्पतरु नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरये. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नास्तप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्राव्यसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसं मालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भूरि भावकः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रे त्वयि मे आनन्दविषया मतिर्मधुपति आसकृत् रतिम् उद्वहत् अदा गङ्गे भौगम् उदन्वतिः. O Madhupate, Lord of sweetness, as the Ganga forever flows to the sea without hindrance, Let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Samhaiti Namine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayatim Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Ramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Vishwaram Om Tat Sat. So Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam session today. So we are continuing with our chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit. So we are now doing part 3. So I will recap quickly, hopefully, so that we can remember what we have discussed in this chapter particularly, right? So we are now in a place where the Maharaj Parikshit is being described because the sages in Naimisaranya, headed by Saunaka Rishi, they wanted to know about the speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Srila Sukadev Goswami. They also wanted to know about the person to whom Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken to, and that is Parikshit Maharaj. So, and of course, they had other questions. They also wanted to know the history of the Srimad Bhagavatam and also where Dharma and morality and religiosity takes shelter now that Lord Krishna has left the world. So, the answer to that was also the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, like that, they had several questions. So, now we are going back to the question of description of Parikshit Maharaj. So now Sukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami is relating to the sages of the Naimisaranya forest. So he begins from the very beginning. Before he glorifies Parikshit Maharaj, he starts with his grandfather. So he spoke about the glories of Yudhishthira Maharaj, how Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling over the entire Bharat Varsha, the entire kingdom of Bharat, of basically the whole earth, and how he had dominion over the earth, the seas, the forest, and everything was in extreme profusion. Everything was in abundance. The whole earth was blessed to such an extent that even the denizens of heaven, they were, looking in wonder. Wow, what a wonderful kingdom Yudhishthira Maharaj is reigning over, all by the mercy of Krishna. So we heard that previously. And we also started off with a previous description. We heard about how Parikshit Maharaj was saved in the womb. If you remember the story, Drona's son Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra weapon, and the Brahmastra weapon was rushing to strike Parikshit Maharaj in the womb. And at that time, his mother Uttara she cried to Krishna because Krishna was there. The Pandavas were also there, but she straight away ran to Krishna and cried to him, "Pahi Pahi Mahayogi, save me, O greatest of mystic. Pahi Pahi Mahayogi, Deva Deva Jagatpate, oh, you are the Lord of all lords. Only you can save me from this Brahmastra weapon." So fear, and in this way, Lord Krishna, he was already within the heart of all living entities. So he was within the heart of Uttara. So very quickly he expanded himself within the heart and appeared in this wondrous form, Angusta Matram. It was described that the form was only the size of a thumb because it's Paramatma, right? So within the womb, he came in the size of a thumb. And in this way, shining personality, the description was given how his eyes were reddish and his dhoti was brilliant yellow, and he was having 4 arms carrying the chakra, gada, padma, and conch. And in this way, he came to meet the Brahmastra weapon. And just like how he played baseball, he struck the Brahmastra weapon, and the Brahmastra weapon was defeated. And Parikshit Maharaj was saved within the womb. So we heard all that. And after that, the narration went on to describe Parikshit Maharaj's birth, how he was waiting for the alignment of the auspicious zodiac signs, and then which heralded his birth. And in this way, he took birth. And once he was born, of course, Parikshit Maharaja's father was already dead. Parikshit Maharaj's father was what's his name? His name was
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Abhimanyu. Yes, Abhimanyu was already dead, killed by the Kauravas unfairly. But anyway, but his mother was still alive, Uttara, and he was looked after by his grandfather, which was Arjuna. Arjuna was the father of Abhimanyu, right? And but the king was Yudhishthira Maharaj. So therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj was most happy because now there is a an heir, someone to continue the line of the Pandava dynasty, of the Kuru dynasty, which was also the desire of Krishna. Lord Krishna wanted this great personality to take over after Yudhishthira Maharaj retires. We will hear about Yudhishthira Maharaj's retirement later, not today, but in the later proceeding chapters. So during the birth ceremony, so we talked about samskara, how samskara was performed, jata karma samskara. This is the samskara where the umbilical cord was cut by the father, but here the father was not there, so the grandfather. And in this way, this is a samskara made, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was presiding over the samskara, and he was the king. So therefore, he was described as Tirthavit, one who knows when, where, and how charity should be given. So that was discussed to some detail also in the first part of this chapter. We talked about it already. So he's known as Tirthavit, and as a gift, as recompense to the sages, basically Daumya, the priest of the Pandavas, and also Kripacharya presided over the samskara. And when samskaras are performed, the priest should be generously remunerated. So therefore, Tirtha Praje means the charity given during the samskara was described, and basically he gave the charity to such an extent that all the Brahmanas were fully satisfied. So Brahmanas, tushta means satisfied. The Brahmanas were satisfied with the charity. So all this was already discussed. And a quick recap of Prabhupada's purport, because in the previous session, we spoke a lot about the purificatory social infrastructure, the samskaras. So here I'm just summarizing. So Prabhupada describes how there are two different ways samskaras are performed. So that is the Brahmana Shruti. The Brahmana Shruti is the type of samskara which is coming directly from the Vedas. And the Pancharatra Shruti, this is coming from the Puranas, the Smriti, is coming from the Smriti branch of the Vedas. So Smriti branch means the Puranas, the Itihasas, the Tantras, the Agamas. So mainly here is from the Tantras. So Pancharatrika Smriti. So there are two branches of samskaras or rituals which is done in the Sanatan Dharma Aryan purificatory social infrastructure. So what's the purpose of these samskaras? The purpose of various samskaras, from the birth to the cutting of the hair, to piercing of the ears, to the upanayana, wearing the Brahminical thread, and to marriage, and finally ending with death. So altogether, there are 15 samskaras prescribed for human beings. And purpose of this is for purification, to assist in spiritual upliftment. To create, the word samskara means impressions. So basically, it is to create the right, it's a scientific process which is prescribed by scripture so that it creates the right impression within the mind of the recipient, of the person who is undergoing the samskara, and also amongst all those who are attending the samskaras. So it has to be done in a very precise way, right? So that is purpose is to assist in spiritual upliftment. So for Brahmana Shruti, the Brahmana style of samskaras coming from the Vedas, what is required is you need Brahmanas, and you need facilities, and you need lots of charity to be given. So you have to, basically the Brahmanas have to be pure. So nowadays in Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to find all these in purity. So we have people who are Brahmanas, so they don't follow the Brahminical standards. They wear the, both those who are caste Brahmanas, they are born as Brahmanas, but then they don't follow the strict standards and rituals. Ideally, Brahmanas are not supposed to even take salary. They are supposed to completely rely only on charity and dedicate 100% of their time towards upliftment, spiritual upliftment of themselves, the society, and also the kingdom. So that is Brahmana. So such Brahmanas are very rare nowadays, and therefore facilities are also not easy for this kind of very very uh, very carefully arranged rituals. So you need lots of different items which are not easy to obtain. And even if these items are there, they are adulterated. Like for example, it's difficult to get even pure ghee nowadays. So facilities are a problem, and charity, right? So one has to know how, when, and where at the right time, place, and circumstances charity is to be given, and what are considered charity. So that also we discussed previously, right? Gold, uh, horses, elephants, cows, village, grains, right? So these are all different types of charity. So therefore, Prabhupada says that uh, this kind of samskaras or rituals are not really possible in Kali Yuga because of all these deficiencies. So somehow or other there is some lacking, right? So in particularly in Kali Yuga, the Pancharatrika samskaras are prescribed. So where is the Pancharatrika samskara coming from? It's coming from a scripture which is from the Smriti branch, meant for those who are not particularly Brahmanas, those who are not twice initiated. So particularly in Kali Yuga, we have majority of the people are not Brahmanas. So therefore, this is prescribed and is especially powerful. And what does it involve? Pancharatrika Smriti is much simpler, right? All you need is simply devotion. So you need to have Vaishnavas, you need to have devotees present. And what do you need with them? Simply have Harinam. So simply come together, congregate, and have chanting of the holy names. So this is basically the most important aspect of the samskara. In fact, it is described in scripture, even with all the facilities and the brahmanas and the charity and the rituals, if there is no chanting of the holy name of the Lord, then the samskara is not fully successful. So this is actually the main component, right? And basically to honor and to satisfy the Vaishnavas present by serving of prasadam. So even if we cannot afford villages or horses or elephants or cows or gold, we can serve nicely prasadam to satisfy the devotees who are present. So that is completion of a nice samskara. Very, very practical and something which is very powerful as well in Kali Yuga. So that was described in previous session. And therefore, the Brahmanas who were fully satisfied, they, after receiving all the gifts from the king, right, they were fully satisfied, and they told the king, Tasma namna Vishnu Rata iti loke bhavishyati. So therefore, Tasman means therefore. Therefore, this child, he will be known, Nama, Namna, he will be known as Vishnu Rata. Vishnu Rata means one who is protected by the Supreme Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj, in the womb, he was protected by the Supreme Lord. So therefore, he became famous as Vishnu Rata. Iti loke bhavishyati. So in this way, he will be known throughout the world, right? So that he'll be famous by this name, Vishnu Rata, one who is personally protected by Lord Vishnu himself. Na sandeho, don't have any sandeham. In Tamil we say sandegam vena, right? No need to doubt. Na sandeho, no need to doubt that this child is Mahabhaga, most fortunate, and he is Mahabhagavato. the greatest of devotees, Mahan, full of good qualities. So in this way, they describe. And in the previous session also, we spent quite some time to talk about the different types and classifications of devotees. Because Maha Bhagavato, right? So what are the different types of devotees? Prabhupada gave elaborate purport on that, and we tried to discuss this. So today I'm just recapping and summarizing this very quickly. So to have a, because this is very important for our understanding. So basically there are three classes of devotees, right? There is the third class devotee known as the Kanishta Adhikari. And if the third, basically the third class devotee is one whose faith is very is not very strong. It's very shaky. Ka Nishta. That means where is the stability? Nishta means stability. Ka means where. Where is the stability in our faith? So one day we have high faith, another day our faith may be wavered. Somebody may come and say something and may disturb our faith. So it depends on circumstances, it depends on mood, situation, right? So, but he has some faith. So that is there. So that is called third class devotee. And he gives his full attention to the deity in the temple. But he does not consider the devotees very much. He only comes for the deity in the temple. That's the third class devotee. But if the third class devotee associates with other devotees who are of a higher caliber, right? And if he continues to follow in the process given, which is hearing and chanting, then his faith will become stronger. His doubts will be removed because of his constant hearing. As he constantly hears, his doubts will be removed. And as purification takes place in his heart by hearing and chanting, the Paramatma within his heart reveals knowledge to him. So that is, and in this way, of course, it may not be all the time, but whenever there is a doubt, suddenly he just has to think, and then the doubts are answered. So that is the blessings of the Lord. So in this way, he may progress to the second class devotee, mainly by the mercy of Guru, association of Sadhu Sangha, and by the process of chanting and hearing, right? So second class is called Madhyama Adhikari. Madhyama Adhikari is someone who has much stronger faith. He doesn't get disturbed. He does not have full knowledge. He may not be able to answer everything. So people may challenge him, he may not be able to answer everything, but his faith is not disturbed. Even though people come and say all kinds of things, present whatever it is, his faith is always fixed. So that person is constantly endeavoring, and that person is someone who's already serious in his spiritual life. One who has taken initiation vows, following strictly every day regulative processes of devotional service, like four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds and that way. So that person comes to this stage of Madhyam Adhikari, second class. And then there is also the first class. So as he goes on, as he continues in this way, eventually he will come to this level of first class where he begins to see everywhere Krishna's presence in every person. And before that, theoretically one understands this, but in the first class position, one actually experiences that. And he becomes equipoised. So descriptions are given nicely in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, right? The Sthita Prajna and all that we can see. So that is one level of classifying devotees. But at the same time, there is also another classification which works together. And that classification is what is called mixed bhakti, the quality of your bhakti, right? There are three classes of devotees, but there is also quality of bhakti. What kind of bhakti does one have? So there is something called mixed bhakti. Mixed bhakti is what is called alloyed bhakti. Bhakti which is mixed. It's not pure. So why it's not pure? So this is karma mishra bhakti or jnana mishra bhakti or yoga mishra bhakti. There are different types of mixture. Karma mishra bhakti means one has bhakti, devotion, but at the same time, one also has desires, material desires. So these material desires can be, desires for name, fame, glory, desires for, Aishwarya's, the Sat Aishwarya's power, position, whatever, So basically, they approach the Lord and they ask the Lord for, maintenance and whatever. So that is mixed bhakti. It's not bad, but it's not the best, right? And this mixed bhakti, so third class devotees mostly have mixed bhakti, and but it doesn't mean that exclusively Kanishta Adhikaris or third class devotees have only mixed bhakti. No, it's possible that they can also have pure bhakti, but usually it's not very common. But in the second class position, right, there is higher chances that devotees may come to this position where they reject mixed bhakti and they go only for pure bhakti. So what is pure bhakti? Anya bilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. So anukulyena anu krishnanu silanam bhakti uttamam. Topmost bhakti is that pure bhakti which is free from karma, free from jnana, free from any other desire. Only desire is to satisfy and please the Supreme Lord. That is pure bhakti. So anyone can have this pure bhakti desire. Even a third class devotee may have this pure bhakti desire. The only problem is the third class devotee also have other desires. So he also may want to please the Lord, but at the same time, he also may have other desires existing within himself. So as he gets purified further, he may want to, these other desires may go away. So that's pure bhakti. Pure bhakti. So we need to understand these categorizations of devotion, right? So it's pure bhakti. One who has pure bhakti doesn't mean top class only, right? Pure bhakti can be from third class. Majority of second class devotees may have pure bhakti, right? But first class is exclusively pure bhakti. They no longer have any other desires for anything else. So therefore, it's a gradual process. So even if we are starting from the third class or from the lowest stage, our faith may not be very strong, but it's possible. Sometimes one may come simply for the pleasure of the Lord, one may do some service. Or sometimes simply for the pleasure of the Lord, one may chant or simply sing something, right? But the problem is it's not constant. So that is the problem. So doesn't matter. The point is we have to understand this and we have to work towards this. We have to preach to our mind. We have to tell our mind this is what is necessary. This is what is going to ultimately please the Lord, right? So by preaching to the mind, how do we preach to the mind? We cannot preach to the mind if we cannot hear. If we don't hear sufficiently or if we don't read sufficiently, what are we going to preach to our mind to? So therefore, hearing begins with the process of Shravanam, hearing, and by preaching to the mind, we naturally move to the next stage of Kirtanam. Kirtanam is very, very powerful. It purifies our heart, removes this bad desires, remove these materialistic desires. We want to be free of materialistic desires, then we should hear and chant about the Supreme Lord. That is the process. So even in the beginning, we may be having mixed desires or whatever, but if the seed of pure bhakti is placed in our heart, right, it will grow into a fruit. And the fruit may be very young, like this young mango is green and very, very sour, right? But all we have to do is simply continue the process, and eventually we will experience the ripening of this mango. It becomes pure bhakti, very, very sweet. So that is our understanding of what we have covered previously. So so basically back to the story, the Brahmanas were glorifying and saying Parikshit Maharaj is going to be a pure devotee, Mahabhagavat. That's why he was personally saved by the Supreme Lord, right? The Lord reciprocates differently with different people according to as per their surrender. That we discussed in our previous session also. Another important point to remember. So as per our surrender, if we give pure devotion, if we cultivate pure devotion in our heart, the Lord becomes purchased. He becomes purchased by our pure devotion. So that is our reward. We get the Lord himself. Just like how Mother Yashoda was able to capture the Lord and tie him to the grinding mortar. And the devatas were all looking in wonder. Who is this humble woman from the village who has managed to capture the supreme personality of Godhead, the Parabrahman himself, and tied him and make him and had this kind of leelas. So it becomes very, very wonderful. That is the price of bhakti. So then this Brahmana, so then after hearing this, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, "Oh great souls," he was curious, he was eager. Will this child, will he become a Raja Rishi, a great, great saintly king, right? Punya Slokam Mahatmana. Will he become a great personality, Mahatmana, right? Who will be glorified with choice poetry, Punya Slokam, and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family. So this family of the Kuru dynasty is very, very glorious. It's descending directly from the Sun dynasty, right? Surya Vamsa. And it's very, very glorious. So he's asking, naturally, why Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking this way, not for his own personal egoistic satisfaction, right? Oh, my grandchild, my son. No, not because of that. Because he is a righteous king. And he was eager to know whether the next king after him, which is the new child born, is also going to carry on the same tradition. So he was worried, he was eager to know about the future of the kingdom. So even then, responsibility was his main concern. So therefore, he asked this question. And the Brahmanas, right, they were all expert astrologers. So we continue with this now. Brahmana Uchu. So now we continue with today, verse 12, 19, chapter 12, text 19. Partha prajavita sakshat ikshvakur iva manavaha. So the Brahmanas are saying, "Oh, son of Partha." Partha means son of Pritha. Pritha is Kunti Devi, another name for Kunti. So, oh, son of Pritha or Partha, Prajavita Sakshat. When it comes to maintaining all the living entities in this world, Praja means all the living entities. Uh, when it comes to maintaining them, Sakshat, he will be just like the son of Manu, Manava Eva. So Manava means the son of Manu. Who is the son of Manu? Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku was a great king, right? So who is Manu in the first place? Manu is there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. These Manus are responsible for populating the universe. Now, in one day of Brahma, the universe undergoes annihilation 14 times because the devatas like Indra and all of them, there are 14 Indras also during one day of Brahma. So, and of course, one day of Brahma is very, very long time. It's uncalculable. It's described that in the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, uh, one yuga, we have how many yugas? We have 4 yugas, right? Kali Yuga, before that, Trita Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, then Trita Yuga, then Satya Yuga. So Kali Yuga is about 432,000 years. Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga was double that amount of years. Treta Yuga was triple Kali Yuga's amount of years. And Satya Yuga is 4 times the amount. So if you add up all the years, the hundreds and thousands of years altogether for all the yugas, so these 4 yugas are called Chatur Yuga or Divya Yuga, made up of Satya, Trita, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So this is called Divya cycle or one Chatur Yuga cycle. So it takes, I think it takes 1,000, I can't remember, I think if I remember correctly, it takes 1,000 cycles of this Yuga to make one day of Brahma, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. So Therefore, but the point is, one day of Brahma is very, very long. And in there are different levels of time. In the lower planetary systems, time flows in a different way. Just one day of Brahma, 14 different Indras have taken birth, lived, and died. So that is how it goes. So anyway, in this one day of Brahma, there are 14 Indras, and in each Indra there is one Manu. Manu is the person who is considered the father of mankind, and he is responsible for propagating. Yeah, propagating population in the world, in the basically in the universe. So the first Manu was Swayambhuva Manu, very, very powerful personality. In fact, he was an incarnation of the Lord himself. And now, in our current life, as we are living, this is now the seventh Manu. So seven Manus have already come and gone. This is the seventh Manu. Six Manus have come and gone. This is the seventh Manu, known as Vaivasvata Manu. So in Vaivasvata Manu, uh, we have is called Vaivasvata Manu because he is the son of the sun god Surya. So Surya's son is Vaivasvata, and Surya is called Vivaswan. His name is Vivaswan, and his son is called Vaivasvata, and that became the current Manu we are having in our lifetime now. So here this picture shows, in Bhagavad Gita, if you remember, chapter 4.1, Lord Krishna says, Sri Bhagwan Uvacha, Imam Vivashvate Yogam. So our Vivaswan was mentioned, and our Manu, Vaivasvata Manu was mentioned, and Ikshvaku was also mentioned. So Krishna was saying how Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was lost even during that time. So he had to reinstate it by telling the Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, the sun god. And Vivaswan, the sun god, spoke it to his son, Vaivasvata Manu, and Vaivasvata Manu spoke it to his son, Ishvaku. So this is Ishvaku. So anyway, back to the conversation. The Brahmanas told Yudhishthira Maharaj that your son, your grandson, this Parikshit, this Vishnu Ratha, when it comes to protecting and maintaining all the living entities, he will be just like King Ikshvaku. So King Ikshvaku was a great personality. This is King Ikshvaku. He was the first king of the Ikshvaku dynasty and founder of the Surya Vamsa, the Sun dynasty. So, and who comes in the Sun dynasty later on? If you remember, Lord Ram, he is also known as Raghu Vamsa. Raghu means sun, right? So Sun dynasty. So coming from that line, Lord Ram also came from that line. So, but before Lord Ram was there, the capital city of the world, reigned by King Ikshvaku. King Ikshvaku was the person who founded Ayodhya, the city. And the capital city of the world, Ayodhya, was at that time ruled by Ikshvaku. So it's a very ancient city, actually. During the time of Treta Yuga. So in the beginning of Treta Yuga, King Ikshvaku established this kingdom of Ayodhya. And he was a great king. He prohibited meat eating, and he was very, very righteous, and he protected everyone. So then the Brahmanas continue. Brahmanya Satya Sandascha Ramo Dasharatir Yata. So then he goes on saying that when it comes to following Brahminical principles, Brahmanyaha, Satya, what are the Brahminical principles? Mainly the Brahminical principle is Satyam, truthfulness. When it comes to upholding many Brahminical principles, especially truthfulness, right? This child of yours, this grandson of yours will be just like Lord Ram. Who is Lord Ram? Dasharathi Yata, the son of Dasharath Maharaj. Who is the son of Dasharath Maharaj? Lord Ramachandra Bhagavan, right? So we all know wonderful example of Lord Ram. Lord Ram was the ideal. He's called Maryada Purushottama. So Maryada Purushottama means the Lord came in this world to show the perfect ideal example of how one should be, either as a, in various roles, to be the perfect son, to be the perfect husband, to be the perfect brother, to be the perfect king, to be the perfect enemy also. Even to Ravana, he showed himself as the perfect enemy in the sense that he gave Ravana so many chances. He sent messenger after messenger to Ravana asking for, you simply have to return Sita to me, and then we will end all hostilities. So no worries. I won't even attack you, right? Although as a king, right? So in this way, he showed perfect example in different ways. And a king, the crest jewel of all his examples, was the example of upholding Brahminical principles, particularly truthfulness. So how do we see that? How do we see that? We see that in how, we all know the famous story of how Lord Ram went to the forest, how he was banished to the forest, right? So Dasharat Maharaj had three wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi was the youngest wife, and he was very fond of Kaikeyi. And at one point of time, Kaikeyi helped him also. In some, Kaikeyi was a warrior princess. She was not a normal. She was a warrior princess. So she used to come with him for battle. And at one point of time, she saved his life. And as a reward, Dasharat Maharaj blessed Kaikeyi with boons. And the primary boon was, ask me anything that you want, and I will give it to you. But she didn't ask at that time, so she kept it. And later, by the machinations of the Mantara, the hunched crook, the hunchback Mantara, who made her, who poisoned her mind against Lord Ram. Of course, there's a lot of stories behind that. There's a story behind the story, why Mantara did that, why Kaikeyi's mind became poisoned. Lots of stories behind that, but we won't go into that. If you are interested, please read the Ramayana, or please hear the recitations of the Ramayana. Very, very, very beautiful pastimes of the Lord. You will be moved in so many ways. So anyway, the point was, Dasharath was going to crown Rama as the king of Ayodhya, but Kaikeyi heard about this and asked Dasharath the boon. So the boon was, banish Lord Ram from the kingdom to the forest and install her son Bharadan as the king of Ayodhya. So in this way, but when Dasharath heard this, he didn't want to, and he became very morose. But then Lord Ram heard about this promise of Dasharath Maharaj, and he came and told Dasharath Maharaj, "Oh Dasharath Maharaj, oh my father, you are a king, and you are not just an ordinary king, you are the king of the Raghu Vamsa, the illustrious kingdom of coming directly from King Ikshvaku, from the Sun Solar dynasty. And your purpose is to uphold Brahminical principles, right? You are a Raja Rishi, and you have given your word to Mother Kaikeyi that you will grant her whatever she wants. And because you have given your word, because I'm your son, I must honor your word." But Dasharath Maharaj said, "No, no, don't go. I never mind about my word." But but Rama will not have it. Say, "No, you are the king. You must uphold your word. Even though this act is going to cause so much of problems for himself, Lord Ram, imagine if somebody comes and tell us, you have to go to the forest. What will we do? We will try to find different ways to say that order is not valid, isn't it? If somebody comes, if we were given a promise to a kingdom, and somehow due to some technical situation the order was changed and we are banished to the forest, we will try to find different ways on how to establish that order was false, it's not valid. But Lord Ram, he was he valued the truthfulness more importantly. rather than his own, welfare. So he said, no, you must honor your truth. You spoke, you must keep your word. So to keep your word, I will go to the forest voluntarily. He didn't even have to be ordered. He voluntarily left the forest so that he can keep his father's word, not even his own word, his father's word. So that's amazing, isn't it? Amazing example of of a person upholding truthfulness. So we should all take uh, inspiration from that. Very, very important principle in upholding the mode of goodness, truthfulness. Mm. So here we can see a picture of Lord Ram taking leave from his father Dasharath, and Dasharath, where he is tearfully crying, he says, "No, Ram, Ram, why don't you go against me? Why don't you disobey my commands?" But Lord Ram says, "No, you are my love, you my beloved father. I will never dream of disobeying your command." And then, so in this way, he took blessings from Dasharath and he left. It's a very, very moving tale. Right? If you read the Ramayana, lots of description is given by Valmiki, how the entire people of Ayodhya, they were all in tears and they were all coming together with Lord Ram, accompanying him. They all wanted to go to the forest together with Lord Ram. So anyway, that's another story. So this is a picture of Lord Ram and Sita. So Lord Ram went, Lakshman also came, Sita also came together with him. So anyway, back to the point. Brahmanya Satya Sandascha Ramo Dasharathir Yata. In upholding Brahminical principles, morality, especially truthfulness, this grandson of yours will just be just like your great great ancestor, Lord Ram. So I wanted to point out these are some of the books of Lord Ram which are available. Uh, you can buy them from the bookshop if you go to our temples. So this is Valmiki Ramayana. So there are two types of books. This is by Purna Prachna Das and another book by Krishna Dharma. This two is by Krishna Dharma, two different covers, right? This one by Krishna Dharma, it's like a novel. So if you read it, it's just like reading a novel. And with the type of language and all that, it's very much like a novel language. It's like a fact, it's very interesting. You won't be able to put it down. So if you like it, you can read it that way. This one by Purna Prajna Das is very, very very, very sweet. It's not written like a novel, it's written like a description, a narration. But in the narration, every aspect of the original Valmiki Ramayana is captured. It's very, very authentic, this one. If you read it, you will know all the pastimes, all the aspects of Ramayana. So I highly recommend both the books, right? If you have time, you can read them. So then the Brahmanas continued. The Brahmanas continued this giving astrological description of the child. He said, Esha data saranyascha yatahi aushinaraha shibi. Now, the Brahmana is saying that when it comes to charity, right? Uh, when it comes to charity, data means donor of charity. When it comes to charity, your grandson will be just like Sibi, who is king. This is Sibi. Shibi is King Shibi. And he is the son of, sorry, king of where? King of Ushinara province. It's a province in India, in Bharat. Even now it's there. I'm not exactly clear where it was. I did do some research on that, but it's still there. In the next slide, I will show you where it is, right? So King Sibi of Ushinara province. And why is King Sibi very famous? He's famous due to his nature of protecting those who are his citizens. And he was very, very broad-minded in who he thought his citizens were. He didn't consider only the human beings as his citizens. Anyone who took shelter, anyone or anything or any creature that took shelter of him, he considered it his citizen and gave it his protection. And particularly, he was famous for his charity. So this is the story of King Sibi. I'll just briefly narrate King Sibi's story. So how he became famous, but he became famous for many reasons. But this particular story is why he's being described by the Brahmanas here in comparison to Parikshit. So King Sibi, once he was sitting in his court and there was a pigeon. So a pigeon came to him, right? And this pigeon is flying flying, and in great fear and anxiety, it came and sat on the lap of King Sibi. And amazingly, this pigeon, he could speak, and he said, "Please give me protection. I take shelter in you." Why? Because he was being pursued by a hawk. So this hawk was pursuing. This is a picture of an eagle, actually. But anyway, it's a hawk. Looks like an eagle also. So a hawk was pursuing this pigeon so that he can hunt the pigeon and eat it. But the pigeon took shelter of King Sibi. Oh yeah, now I remember. Ushinara is actually a province in Kashi. Kashi is Kashi, Varanasi, capital city of that province is Kashi. Nowadays is known as Varanasi or Benares. So that province is known as Ushinara province. So there, this happened, and the hawk also could speak. So the king told the hawk, "Oh hawk, this pigeon has taken shelter of me. I will protect this pigeon. Please look for your food elsewhere." But then the hawk said, "How is it that you call yourself a generous king, an equal king, when you give protection to one of your subjects, but you don't give protection to another of your subjects? I am also I am also one of the praja. I am also one of the citizens in your kingdom. You can give protection to the pigeon, but what about you denying food to me? I deserve my food. I hunted this pigeon. You should not, uh, you know, you should not deny me my food, my rightful food." Then Sibi said, "Okay, never mind. I will give you food. You may take any other food within my kingdom. But this pigeon has particularly taken shelter with me. I will give you that particular food." But the hawk said, "No, I do not want any other food, right? Why should I hanker about something which is not mine by right? Why should I beg for charity? I am a hunter, right? So I have hunted with my own valor and I have obtained this pigeon as my food. So you should give me this pigeon." Then there was a lot of discussion, very interesting discussion that went by. But eventually, long story short, the hawk agreed that since he took shelter of you, I am happy to take meat, because hawks eat meat, right? I'm happy to take meat from your flesh. You are not giving me the pigeon. He has taken shelter of your body, right? So you give me flesh from your body then. So then the king immediately agreed. "Okay, I will give you flesh equal in weight." The hawk said, "I want flesh equal in weight to this pigeon from your body." So therefore, immediately the king decided to take a knife and he started to cut himself. And when he cut himself, he put that piece of flesh from his thigh. He cut from the thigh. He put it on a scale. And then he told the pigeon, "Oh pigeon, can you sit on the other side of the scale? I need to measure against your weight." So then he put his flesh on the scale. But amazingly, though the flesh was quite large, but still the pigeon was heavier. Then he decided to cut some more from other parts of his body and he put it on the scale. But still, each time the pigeon was weighing more and more and more. And in this way, he was cutting, he was cutting, he was cutting himself. He was almost, you can see here this picture, he cut off his limbs, he started cutting his legs, he started cutting his arms, and he started putting them on the scale. And still, the pigeon was heavier. And finally, but the citizens were all, they were all shocked. They were all saying, "Oh my king, what's happening to you? You're going to die." The ministers were in distress. But the king said, I gave my word, and this is my duty as a king. I told this hawk that I will give charity, and I will give charity even if it costs my life. So then he put himself. Finally, despite all the flesh that was on the scale, it was not enough to match the weight of the pigeon. So he put himself directly, his entire body, he put himself on the scale, right? And then only the scale righted itself. But at that time, the pigeon immediately changed into Agni Dev, the Devata Agni. And the hawk also was not an ordinary hawk. It changed itself into Indra Dev. So they both came and they approached the Lord, approached Sibi, and they healed King Shibi of all his injuries. And they told him, we were just testing you. We heard about your generosity. We heard about your nature of giving protection. So we wanted to test both of it. So in this way, we came to test you. So you have passed our test with flying colors. So after that, Shibi became very famous. This incident was spoken everywhere. The whole world knew about it. Even the citizens in heaven, they were all amazed by this nature of King Sibi. So Prabhupada comments, a Kshatriya king is proud to give protection to the surrendered souls. This is his nature. This is the nature of a Kshatriya, even if it means his death. Right? This attitude of a king is called Ishvara Bhava, to give protection, the kingly being of Kshatriya. In fact, the word Kshatriya means one who gives protection. So the king, being the representative of the Lord, must possess this attitude of giving protection to the surrendered souls at all risk. So that is very glorious. So the Brahmanas were telling, right, your grandson will be just like this king, Sibi, when it comes to charity. So this King Sibi, he was there during Treta Yuga. In fact, there are archaeological findings commemorating this King Sibi also. So this is said to be, this is called Pundari Kaksham Perumal Temple, and it's or Tiruvellarai Temple. It's in Tiruvellarai, a village in the outskirts of Tiruchirappalli in South India. So it's still there, this picture. And it said that this temple was established by King Sibi in the Treta Yuga. So it's thousands of years old, definitely more than few hundred thousands, more than at least more than 900,000 years old, right? So that is, but then you can see some parts of it may be rebuilt. So, but this part is the ancient structure. You can see this area is quite ancient, right? And this is one of the 108 Divya Deshams. There are 108 famous temples dedicated to Lord Vishnu in India, right? And this is one of it. So anyway, so going back to the Brahmanas conversation. So then the Brahmanas continued describing more about how this grandson, this Vishnu Ratha of Parikshit Maharaj will be. And they continued, and he will expand the name and fame of his family, just like the son of Dausyantir. Now, so what he will do, this Parikshit, your grandson, he will expand the name and fame of your family, of your lineage, of this Surya Vamsa dynasty. So that is basically what most people want when they have children, isn't it? So that they will carry on the illustrious good name of the family and so forth. So not only in an ordinary way, he will spread your fame like no other, just like how the son of Dusyant, the son of what do you call Dusyantir Maharaj, Dusyanta Maharaj. So who is Dusyanta Maharaj? Dusyanta Maharaj was also a famous personality, and he married this person called Shakuntala, another famous personality. Maybe some of us may know the personality of Shakuntala. Shakuntala was the daughter of Menaka and Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is a famous sage, and he was a great yogi, and he was trying to practice yoga in so many ways to get power and to get position. Uh, and the devatas were afraid. So each time he performs meditation, the Lord Indra will send distractions to him. So one of the distractions he sent was Menaka. Menaka was one of the Apsaras. Apsaras means, the heavenly ladies, heavenly dancing ladies. So Menaka came to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was closing his eyes and doing dhyanam, tapa, very, very strict dhyana. But it seems that Menaka's allurement was so great that simply by the way she was walking, just by walking, by the tinkling of her ankle bells, Vishwamitra, whose eyes were so closed, right, they were disturbed simply by hearing the tinkling of the ankle bells of Menaka. Such was the prowess of this Apsara. So anyway, they Vishwamitra and Menaka, they united and they had a daughter. Actually, they had two daughters. They had two children. Uh, one was uh, one was Shakuntala, mm, and another child. I forgot the other child. Anyway, this Shakuntala, she was abandoned. Vishwamitra was a sage, and then he decided to continue his austerities after that. And Menaka, she's from the heavenly planets. She didn't want to stay and take care of the daughter on earth. She wanted to return back to heaven. So she entrusted Shakuntala to a sage in the forest there. The name of the sage was Sage Kanva. So this sage Kanva, he brought up Shakuntala, and she was growing in the forest. So while she was a young lady in the forest, she will roam about in the forest near the hermitage of Kanva. And at that time, Dushyanta Maharaj was the king of that land at that time. He was traveling in that forest. And as he was traveling, he met Shakuntala. And when he met Shakuntala, he instantly fell in love with her. And they also married. But they married without the permission of Shakuntala's guardian. Who's Shakuntala's guardian? The sage Kanva, right? So, but he married her without the permission of sage Kanva, and they had a child. And this child is this personality called Bharat. So the name of their child is called Bharata. But sage Kanva got to know about this, and he cursed Dushyanta Maharaj. And the Dushyanta Maharaj, the curse was that Dushyanta Maharaj will forget about Shakuntala completely. Now, Shakuntala was very, very famous. She was known as extremely beautiful personality. Imagine daughter of a great rishi and also the daughter of a heavenly maiden, Menaka. So she was extremely beautiful. And in fact, people cannot forget her. The beauty was so great that once you see her, you will not forget her, it seems. But Kanva cursed, sage Kanva cursed this Dushyanta Maharaj, because you have done this in deceit. I curse you that you will forget Shakuntala completely. So because he forgot Shakuntala completely, he forgot that he even married her or that he even had a child with her. So then he left her and went. So Shakuntala had to carry the child in the forest, and she bore the child and gave birth to this child in the forest. So, but this child was not an ordinary child. He was called Bharat, and his exploits were very, very great. Now, he is not the child that the earth was named. Earth is called Bharat Bhumi also. But there are several different Bharatas, at least three famous Bharatas that we know of. One Bharata is, Lakshman Bharata, Lord Ram's brother. That is one Bharata. And then another Bharata, which is very famous, is Rishabha Putra, the son of King Rishabha, who was an incarnation of the personality of Godhead. We heard about him in chapter 3. And one of Rishabhadev's sons is Bharata. So this Bharata was the one that later, became Bharat Maharaj, and he gave up his kingdom and he took up spiritual life. And then when he died, unfortunately, he remembered a deer, and then in his next life he became a deer, and after that again he became a devotee, and then only he went back to Godhead. So that story of Bharat Maharaj, the son of Rishabha, will be discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam in a later canto, not in this canto. Hmm. But that is not the Bharata which is being referred to here. That is the famous Bharata. That Bharata, which is Rishabha Putra, is the reason the earth became known as Bharat Bhumi. Before earth became known as Bharat Bhumi, it was known as Ilavrata Varsha, not Bharat Varsha. After Rishabhaputra, Bharat Maharaj, and due to his exploits, the earth became known as Bharatvarsha. But that is not the same Bharata as this Bharata, the one that we are talking about here, the son of Sakuntala. That is the different Bharata. So anyway, the Brahmanas were talking about the son of Dushyanta and Shakuntala. So why is he so great? Because he became very famous. So he spread, even though Dushanta Maharaj forgot about his wife and his son due to the curse of sage Kanva, this Bharat boy, he became so powerful that he was able to conquer all the animals in the forest simply by friendship. And it seems that whoever he would come across, anybody who he challenged, they were all easily defeated by Bharat Maharaj, this Bharat. So Prabhupada comments that this is the actual origin of Tarzan. We heard about Tarzan, the story of Edgar Rice Burroughs, how Tarzan was born in the, and then, Tarzan was brought to the forest when he was young baby actually, and he was brought up by the animals. So in the same way, pretty much Shakuntala was taking care of the boy, but the boy, even from a young childhood age, he would go and play with all the dangerous forest creatures, the lions, the bears, the snakes. All of them he managed to charm and tame them easily, and all of them will become his friends. So and in this way, later on, he will go on and do many exploits. He would challenge many kings, and he would win over all of them, and he would make the name of his father and mother very famous, even though his own father forgot about it. So in this way, the Brahmanas are telling Yudhishthira Maharaj, your grandson Parikshit will be so famous that he will expand the name and fame. Yashaha means fame of your. Don't worry, you asked us, right? Will he be like the illustrious kings of our dynasty? Oh yes, he is going to spread the name and fame of your dynasty far and wide, just like how Bharat did for his family. So then the Brahmanas continue. They continue. Amongst great bowmen, this child will be as good as Arjuna. So amongst all bowmen, Arjuna is the topmost bowman. He got that boon from Dronacharya. Dronacharya blessed him because at one point of time, Dronacharya was in the river and he was attacked. He was bathing and he was attacked by a crocodile. This is not an ordinary crocodile, but anyway, this crocodile attacked Dronacharya, and it was Arjuna who saved Dronacharya from death. Of course, Drona would not have died, but still, this is pastime. So it happened, and Drona was very much indebted to Arjuna. He was, even before that, Drona was always pleased with Arjuna because Arjuna was the best student. Drona was his guru, right? And he was always praising him and blessing him. So, but after he saved him, he gave him the boon. You will become the best archer in the world. Nobody will be able to overcome you. So Arjuna indeed showed that many times. So here you see a picture of Arjuna. This is Arjuna in disguise. You know the story of the Pandavas, how when the Pandavas were young, they went to live in Hastinapur, And then Duryodhana became very envious of them, and he decided to set them up. He wanted to kill them. So what he did, he told Dhritarashtra, his father, you create a palace, on every summer holidays, we all go for summer holidays. So why don't you create a palace made out of flammable materials, house of lac, a type of material called lac, which is highly flammable. You make this house, this palace, and you invite the Pandavas, and one day we will set fire to this palace and the entire Pandavas will be killed. So Duryodhana wanted to do that. Even when they were young, the Pandavas were still young. They were not yet matured yet, teenagers. So, and it happened. They lured the Pandavas to the palace of Lac, but the good fortune was, uh, the good fortune was the uncle Uddhava. No, sorry, not Uddhava. The uncle, forgetting names. Um, uh, the brother of the brother of
Vidura.
yeah, Vidura.
Vidura.
Thank you, thank you, Mataji. Thank you for mentioning Vidura knew about this plan, and he went and advised he went and told Yudhishthira Maharaj this is going to happen and everything. So they devised a plan. They dug an underground tunnel and they managed to escape. So, but after they escaped, they didn't want to return back to the kingdom so quickly. So anyway, it was long story. They remained in this way, in hiding. And at one point of time, Arjuna heard about this Swayamvara, and he was told, actually, he was told Krishna, I think it was Krishna, I think it was Krishna who mentioned, and the story, no, sorry, they met a sage. They met a sage. I believe it was Narada. They met sage Narada, or one of the sages in the forest, and they advised Pandavas, why don't you go to this place? The name of the kingdom was Matsya Kingdom. It's, we forgot the name. Anyway, the name of the king of the kingdom is Drupada. King Drupada was there, and he had a very beautiful daughter, Draupadi, and they were having a Swayamvara ceremony so that the princess can have a competition and win the daughter as a prize. So that is the way Kshatriya princesses were married off during that time. The best, the most heroic personality would get the hand of the bride. So anyway, so many of them went. Duryodhana, Arjuna went, Karna went, Duryodhana went. A lot of people went, and it was said that during that time there were few ladies who were extremely beautiful, known throughout the world for their beauty. One of those ladies was Draupadi, and another lady was Shubhadra. So like that, there are a few ladies who are very, very much known for their beauty. So many of the princes at that time wanted to win her hand. So, but there was a great competition. The competition which was set, this competition also was advised by the sage. I think it was Narada. He went and told King Drupada. Drupada was very worried. Who can I marry? My daughter is not an ordinary daughter. She was born from the yagya. Draupadi was born in the fire. She wasn't born in a normal way. And she said, who will be a husband suitable enough for my daughter? So he was advised that have a competition. And in this competition, the winner of this competition will be the husband that you're looking for. And the competition was, it was an archery contest. The contest is, there is a fish, a dummy fish, which was hung from the ceiling and it was moving. A dummy fish was hung in the ceiling and it was moving, and a puddle of water was put on the base, and the archer must, without looking at the target, he must look at the reflection of the target through the puddle of water and shoot through the eye of the fish. Now the fish is a very small fish, it's a jeweled fish, and it was dangling away, and quite a distance away in the ceiling. And without looking at it, you must look at the water and shoot at that fish. So this is what Arjuna did. So he could do it. He was a great bowman. So in that way, even in Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse, right? 1878. Sanjaya says this verse. Sanjaya tells this to Dhritarashtra towards the end of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Danur Daraha. Danur Daraha means the greatest of bowmen. Wherever there is the supreme mystic Krishna, wherever there's the greatest archer Arjuna, there will be, what there will be? There will be Shri. Shri means great opulence. There will be Vijaya, victory. There will be Bhutir, power. There will be Nitir, morality or Dharma. Right? All of these things will be there wherever these two personalities are there. So anyway, so again, the greatest bowman was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, and it is also proven by Arjuna. So amongst great bowmen, this child will be as good as Arjuna. Have no fear, O king. So in this way, the Brahmanas were describing, right? So there are other stories of how Arjuna was such a great archer that he deserved his title. So here there's a story of how he even fought with Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva heard about Arjuna's prowess, and he was very pleased to know that such a personality was there, and he wanted to test Arjuna also. So there was a story when Lord Shiva came, he dressed up as a Shabara. Shabara means a forest tribal person. So he came as a forest tribal person and he challenged Arjuna, come, I've heard about your prowess, fight with me. So in this way, they were fighting, and Arjuna could not be defeated. And Lord Shiva was very pleased. So at the end of this, Lord Shiva revealed his form and he said, I'm very pleased with you, O Arjuna. You are indeed deserving of this title. And therefore, and as a present, I will give you my own Pashupata Astra, a special weapon of Lord Shiva called Pashupata Astra. So that was given to Arjuna. So not only did Arjuna get that special weapon from Lord Shiva, he also managed to win special weapons from many other devatas. He in fact had a duel with Lord Yamaraj also. So with Yamaraj, he also won a weapon. He was blessed with a weapon, Dandastra from Yamaraj. And then he was also given a gift by Agni. The Gandiva bow was a special gift by Agni, given by due to his saving the forest fire. He helped Agni at one point of time. You can read it in Krishna book. And then he also got weapons from Varuna Dev. The special weapon of Varuna is the Pasha Astra, the noose weapon, the rope-like noose weapon. So he got that also. These are all celestial weapons. And he also got the weapon of Indra. Indra's Vajra, the lightning weapon, was also Lord Indra blessed him with this weapon. Why? Because Arjuna actually at one point of time in the story of Mahabharata, he actually went to heaven. Long story, but anyway, he went to heaven. And in heaven, Indra actually asked his help to defeat his enemies. So at that time, Indra, the heavenly people, they were always disturbed by the demons. So there were a group of demons called the Nivacha Kavacha. So the Nivata Kavacha, they are very, very powerful. It's described that they knew magic. They were very mystical. They were very powerful warriors. And they numbered 30 million. There were 30 million of them. And their capital city was Mahismati, in the depths of the ocean. It's not our ocean. It's in the celestial oceans. And Indra and the Devatas were asking his help. So Arjuna led the army. He led the army and he defeated all the 30 million Nivata Kavachas, the demons. And in gratitude, Indra gave him this Vajra weapon. So again, we can see evidence of Arjuna being a great archer. And Arjuna was also, there are many stories. There was, if you read the Mahabharata, you will see that when at one point of time, when the Pandavas were exiled to the forest, they stayed in the forest for 14 years, right? And the last year of the exile, they are supposed to be hidden, incognito. So they went into hiding in the kingdom of Virata, and there but at the end of that, somehow Duryodhana got to know about where the Pandavas may be hiding. So he went and tried to attack this Virata kingdom. So even before the 14 years was over, but so what happened was the Virata kingdom, they couldn't defend against the Kauravas. Bhishma was there, Drona was there, Karna was there. So all of them were going to attack this kingdom due to Duryodhana's and Dhritarashtra's machinations. But at that time, Arjuna single-handedly, he was in disguise. Single-handedly in disguise, he came and he took his weapons, and in his chariot, he went and faced all the Kauravas. When he faced all the Kauravas, he let go his disguise, and he told all of them that today marks the day that my 14-year exile is finished, according to the correct astrological calculations. So he revealed himself as Arjuna, and single-handedly he defeated all of them. He defeated Bhishma, he defeated Drona, he defeated Karna, he defeated all the Kripacharya. Single-handedly he defeated all of them in archery, and all of them accepted that Arjuna was the greatest archer. So this information is there in the Mahabharata. You can hear about it, the battle of Virata. So Arjuna is therefore the greatest bowman. So in this way, the Brahmanas were assuring Maharaj Parikshit, you are rest assured, do not worry. Your heir, the next person who's going to be the king after you, you don't have to worry at all. He's well established. He's a great personality. So the Brahmanas continue further on. There are many other stories. Actually, there are lots of things to talk about because all these personalities are very, very wonderful. So the next he will say is, he will be irresistible, just like fire. Durdarshaha. The Brahmanas say your grandson will be irresistible, just like fire. Now, fire is very, very difficult to resist. Once something catches fire, it quickly burns. So in that sense, the Brahmanas were describing the prowess of the child to be, right? He'll be a great warrior, very irresistible, just like fire. At the same time, the fire is also very splendorous, right? Irresistibly beautiful. Just a moment. Sorry about that. Okay. So he says irresistible just as fire. And when it and he is also just like the ocean, unsurpassable. Just like how the ocean is so vast, it's not easy to cross over the ocean. So in this way, he's unsurpassable as the ocean. So in this way, we heard about these are the qualities. So far, 7 qualities have been mentioned, right? Prajavita, maintaining the praja, charitable, protection, right? Expand the name and fame, great bowman, irresistible, unsurpassable, right? These are the summary. There are some more. The Brahmanas will be talking some more, but we will continue that in the next session. Okay, so with that, we'll end today's session. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let us chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, everyone. So if there are any questions, we can address them. So we are very fortunate today. Today is Ekadasi. So if you read the WhatsApp message I sent, right? Bhagavatam says, particularly on Ekadasi, we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It removes all our sins, purifies us. We want to get rid of all our desires, our materialistic desires. Then the best solution is to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to chant Srimad Bhagavatam, and to chant the holy names of the Lord. Right? So let us continue this tradition every day if possible, at least every 2 weeks. So, right, so we will stop here. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, please. Oh, there's
Thank
a
you,
question.
Prabhu.
May I know what's the name of the temple? Okay, I will send it to you later, Mataji, in the WhatsApp. So,
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll see you all. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.